Okay, let's see what is going on here. Just to make sure that I have not undone. Hey, how's it going? I am in a place. I also kind of don't want to take over with the voice thing. Man, I have had a weird 15 minutes. I wasn't sure that things were going to work, and I'm still not sure that things are going to work, at least on the YouTube side. Because the YouTube widget to control stuff, which is, you know, I like monitoring on in the browser windows because it gives me an opportunity to see exactly what is going out and if there are any errors going on. So I'm just looking at my dashboard and seeing what's going on here. I find it kind of important to know exactly how things are set up. Anyway, for those of you here hanging out with me, either on live or on playback, you. My name is Wincy Blue. I'm a musician and artist here from Seattle. If you are in Seattle, I am from the Seattle metropolitan area, and if you are a purist, I am from Bothell. And I try not to piss off the locals. Not that I care, but I'm just trying to be nice. So today is an Inktober session. And I'm going to be drawing stuff. I'm going to be drawing stuff on paper, which means that I'm going to be using a different camera setup so that you can actually see things from where my hands are. I know, so very exciting. Let's see if my Freddy cam was set up properly. Nope. Oh, well, there she is. Freddy had a vet appointment today. She was not very happy about it. We took her in for a blood draw, and she kind of freaked out. We were worried she was going to have a seizure. So I'm going to move her bed a little bit so she's more in the middle of the camera. So give me half a second. Yeah, I know what you're thinking. All right, she needs to be in the middle. So let's come back to here so I can make sure that my camera is in the right place. Because if it's not in the right place, I can't really talk to you while I'm doing the thing. So instead of looking at, yeah, I'm still setting up. The last couple of times I used this particular method of streaming to two channels at once, I managed to spend about an hour cursing at the wind and at my computer. I'm still really upset that that happened, and I was kind of worried about it. Oh, turning off and muting that baby. Yeah, so if you know a friend who is feeling the need to watch an art stream, feel free to send them a link. All right, and today I'm going to do something a little different at the end of the stream, and I hope that those of you who are with me actually stick around for that so I can figure out how that works. You know, it'll be an experimental thing, and I'll reiterate. Anyway, my chat that is most active is the one that is right here. That's the Twitch one. I haven't figured out or added the YouTube thing, but you know what? When you watch this on replay on YouTube, you actually see the chat. It plays right along with everything, so I'm not too worried about it. But you will see the Twitch chat show up on my screen. All right, let's go to my work table and see what we got here. Oh yeah, everything looks super great here. People. All right. People keep commenting on the Kiss Off post that I did, and I'm kind of glad for that. Please feel free to be irritated that I told all of you to violate yourself in an adult manner. Anyway, this is the iPad. We're probably not going to use the iPad tonight. Emphasis on probably. Oh, my Wonder Woman tape isn't staying on there. So I posted, what did I post? I posted yesterday, one of yesterday's completed illustrations on Instagram. There are 2 people in that picture that actually exist in reality, and one of them was angry. As for the person that it was inspired by, I don't really care if they saw it or not. I just don't. So let's get a clean shot of paper. Oh. Doing a little sketchbook tour. Yeah, let's do a little sketchbook tour real quick. This was an unfinished piece that was kind of like by the bones, and it was supposed to be, there's supposed to be kind of an alien thing here, but sometimes you just lose excitement for a piece. And then here is another by the bones thing that was inspired by a song. Hey, come on, camera. And this one was inspired by the Commodores. Easy. Easy like Sunday morning. Yeah. That's why I'm easy. Yeah. Like Sunday morning. A friend of mine just texted me. I'm going to let her get a chance to hang out. Okay, so I have that, and let's go around. Oop. Yeah, my camera is like right here, and then I have my microphone, which is, or how do I do the thing? It's right there, and I keep bumping into it. Not cool. I was doing a thing experimenting with some sculpture, and this is the design I decided on. In hindsight, I probably should have done this because this was way too complex for the medium I was using. Oh. Yeah, it looks like YouTube is not very happy with my stream, but you know what? We're just going to deal with it. Here's another By the Bones that I did on about my new young person living with me. Something heard. And the weird laugh he has. Ooh, and I did a crab. I'm just going to turn this around. Boop. Did a little crab. This is acrylic. I started this at a friend's house because we were kind of following moons. Following some moons. It turned out pretty good, I think. Oh, and this is me just tearing up my dang sketchbook. And this is another By the Bones one that I did. Of course, my coffee maker is teleporting out of the scene. And my sister saw this and she said, that's not your kitchen. That's not you. That's not a autobiographical anything. It's just not. Your kitchen isn't even close to being that clean. Like, okay. I love you too, sister. This one was supposed to have text, but I never added it. Another By the Bones thing about things that have been forgotten. Very 80s, especially with the poofy sleeves. And this was supposed to be a letter. I was going to ink this. I was going to ink this, and there's going to be a whole bunch of other things. I might revisit this because why the heck not, right? Just bring it. And this is just something I threw together. I didn't do this in very long. I probably did that in 10 minutes. And I don't like it. It's just the wrong face. And then I was making some emotes for my Twitch channel because I got a whole boatload. I was in the middle of a charity stream. And somebody came in. Hey, Irene. How's it going? I was in the middle of a charity stream and somebody gifted a bunch of subscriptions to a bunch of friends, or at least a bunch of viewers. And I'm like, what? What's going on? And I thought, well, I've just started doing the thing. Okay, hold on, Irene. You can see Irene's talking on my screen. So this was just me trying to come up with little emotes. I got an ad break coming in about a minute. So if you're not subscribing on Twitch, then you're going to get an ad. So, Irene, I'm paying attention to the Twitch chat. You just need to let me know what that news is, because I am absolutely interested. Absolutely. Give it to me, baby. Boom, 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 boom. Give it to me, baby. Give me the news. Tell me what's going on. In the meantime, I'm going to turn the page on my script book. I drew a dishwasher. I don't know why I drew a dishwasher. I think it was because the zine I was going to make this month is... the zine I was going to make this month was about housekeeping, and I just wanted to know I just wanted to know that I could draw something that wasn't a people, right? And I kind of played around with some figures. Oh, look at the little floofy kitten. That kitten is very small. Yeah. So, okay. So, stream today shared that my first painting sold and started a new painting. So much hype. That is awesome. Hype is very important. Hype is getting, I'm not entirely sure what hype is, but I know that it is kind of like a tip drive. I'm trying to think of what the equivalent in real life would be, but it's a good thing. I'm super stoked for you. That is awesome. I love hearing good news like that. So you started a new painting. I am very curious about this new painting. Very curious. Okay. Oops. I'm putting something in chat so everybody knows. And I'm also going to use one of my emotes. Oh no, where am I? Here we are. Yeah, it's most of a live stream is all about, hey, let's wait for something to happen. Let's see, love and chat. 1,000 bits, what? I was talking about hype. I was talking about the hype. But you know what? I'm always up for a hype. Oh, in ads. Okay. All right, I'm gonna reply here. Yep. I love hearing good news. Good news from people. Hype is a good thing. And if you are used to watching streams, then you totally know what's going on. So it's a good thing. Woo, Irene. Good job with the hype. And thanks for the tip. I don't think you can take it back. Sorry, kiddo. That's great, though. I have no idea if that's great. And I don't have a little thing on my screen that says "Yay!" You know how some people, they have these little elements that pop up. Hey, somebody followed. Hey, somebody did this. Somebody did that. Yeah, I don't have that because I'm not cool enough. Also, I don't have a whole lot of time. Yay! Awesome. Awesome. Well, congratulations. I am very curious what the new painting is starting to look like. If you are doing it on the little square ones or the rectangular ones, are you doing like the big ones? I'm always big on hearing people, hearing what people are working on. Way cooler than cool. What? It's the size of the, so it's like a larger one, probably 9 by 12, maybe a little taller than that. The last, the portrait painting that Irene sold a couple of days ago was a rectangular portrait alignment that had a sunset. I remember she did that. Like a larger one, like 9, yeah. Replacing it with a totally different subject. I get that. You can't always draw mandalas. So now we're gonna try. Maybe we'll try circles or a dog. I don't know. I was teaching myself how to draw children, and the legs aren't right. He looks like he's got tiny legs. And I made that up by myself. Oh. When I'm doing a charity thing, I make sure that I do one of these. And somebody paid me to do a little thing. And I made $10 whole. It was awesome. Me experimenting with some fantasy stuff. And somebody asked me, they said, hey, draw me a painting. They paid me. And I said, what do you like? And they said, oh, I like guitars and peacocks. So I did a peacock. Ta-da! So I did a peacock. That was fun. I think I did okay. It took me forever, but I did it. And now we are back to the zine. Here's the cover. This was the tentative title, and then I decided to go in a different direction because when it comes down to creating a zine and offering to give it away, either digital or in print, I just decided to change direction because having a zine telling you need to take out the garbage and recycling when it's overflowing just doesn't seem that interesting. So, there was this, and where did the other one go? This is what ended up on Instagram. In an ink, and I don't feel like bringing out my, I don't feel like bringing out the iPad again. I'm done with the iPad for a while. I probably should tape this back in. Sketchbooks these days are sold with perforations. They're sold with perforations so that you can tear stuff out and maybe scan it or sell it or whatever. So let's see. Yep, I got myself a little, hey, do you want to see what I'm doing? Camera angle. So Irene, I see you're hanging out. What is the new subject? I want to know what the new subject matter is. We're going to do, I should probably do a landscape painting again. I kind of like having a wide, it shows, it's kind of opposite sunrise. Oh, sunrise. That should be nice. Kind of reminds me of sunrise, sunset, sunrise, sunset. Fiddler on the Roof. So much yellow and fog. Are you using a reference of like LA or China? That's what I think of when I think of fog. Wow, this washi tape is really being moody. Yellow and fog. Well, of course it's being freaking moody. It's not taping properly. Having chat guests and keeping progress photos in Discord. Ah, okay. Yeah, Irene's got a Discord. I'm still figuring out my Discord because there's so much stuff that you need to kind of set up. Lake Stevens. Let's see, how far away is Lake Stevens? That's north. That's north of us. I'm not quite sure where Lake Stevens is. I know that I have family friends up there. But you're talking about the actual Lake Stevens, not Lake Stevens, the town. All right, there we go. It has been reattached. I have one more to grab. Post your art in mine. Yes, I absolutely will. Where did my frickin' dog go? Ah, dog. And there is a spot in my Discord. See, I'm worried that it's not completely set up and that I don't have a URL for it. If I had a URL in it, would I... Is she back? Yes, she's back. What a concert. Oh, yeah, a couple of... hang on a second. I'm going to grab something out of the scanner. It's like 4 feet away. So during the concert, it's a musician that I had seen before at a house concert. Same place, similar time, just a couple years ago. Her name is Emily Henry, and I don't know if she's on YouTube. But I do know that she streams on Twitch. And she tours, does a little thing. There's a lot more interaction on Twitch, I find. But then again, I am just now figuring out what YouTube actually is. Can I shout out Emily Henry Music? Let's see. Let's see if that works. Oh, I have to actually hit the button for chat. Yeah, there we go. I don't think that's going to show up on... I can copy it, though. And I'm going to put it in my YouTube stream also. Yeah, that's that's Emily Henry Music. Yeah, she was the musician I went to go see on Tuesday, and I always, you know, if I think that I'm going to be distracted or uncomfortable sitting for any length of time, I bring a sketchbook with me. And this is what I drew. This is close to what... yeah, it's upside down. Har, har, har. But this is what... this is the fun little sketch that I did during Emily's thing. During Emily's show. Last time I saw her, I drew a picture of her and I gave it to her. She's like, oh my gosh, I still have it. Which is kind of cool. So there's nothing after this. We're probably going to go on the next page for that. But this, gosh, I have so many sketchbooks with things in them. And then I misplace them. And then I buy a new one. And then I find the one I misplaced. So there's just a ton of stuff. Did a little dog thing. Here's learning how to do cats. Just studies. Oh, and here's some stuff from Inktober from a few years ago. Hang on, apparently I'm not done sharing my sketchbook. So this was done around the time that I was starting to get cranky about Inktober, because there's a whole lot of pressure. When the Inktober challenge is an ink drawing a day for 31 days and then post on your socials. And I was starting to get really weirdly, that whole relationship you have with your socials, it was starting to get a little awkward, I guess. I don't know. So I was really reluctant to actually do this. And there were captions under this. I'm pretty sure you can figure out what the first 2 days were about. And that's me. I do a lot of self-portraits in my cartooning, which is kind of fun. Study of hands. Da-da-da. All right, hun. Don't worry, I'm going to sit here and do my thing where I'm doing the sketchbook tour, which I don't do very often. My Mona Lisa. And a dumb little cartoon that I did that nobody thought was cool. Just a lot of fun stuff from past things. There is one in here that I really, really like. That, let's see if I can find it. It was done with this as the reference. I really liked this picture. And so I did myself a little inky thing with it. I thought it turned out pretty good. Of course, the hands were the ones that were challenging. Everything else I felt came pretty natural. But anyway, it's a tour of a sketchbook. I don't know. Lots of doodles experimenting with this. Pictures of my dog. You know, for me, animals are really hard to draw, especially domestic ones. Domestic animals are always harder for me to draw for some reason. Me trying to get a caricature of my husband. Oh, fat naked person. I did quite a few sketches that were just cartoons that, like, here's a good one. I thought that turned out pretty good for not having a reference photo. Oh gosh, there's so many other things in here. Oh, this is a good one. I don't feel like this anymore. I mean, I still would like to get back into shape. Who wouldn't? Especially if you feel bad, physically feel bad. You want to just make yourself feel better. What better way to do it? Oh, wow. There's just so many things in here that I just did some dumb sketches on. And I call them dumb not because I actually think that they're dumb. I call them dumb because they seem silly. I was very frivolous. Sometimes I do sketches of the things I want to talk to my husband about. Oh, here's some storyboarding I did for a comic I published on Instagram. Which is always fun. Oh, and this, when my in-laws died, they died, several years apart. The family wanted a commemorative bookmark And this is not the final. This is me getting familiar with the Welsh dragon. And there is the version of the dragon that I ended up using. I have a more detailed one, but I don't think I needed a detailed Welsh dragon for the purposes that I was doing, because it was going to be, it's going to be, you know, doing its thing in front of a quilt. And then I had to figure out how to draw a quilt. Yeah, there we go. Here's my friend Jeff, or at least his feet. I think it's his feet. Either that or it was his friend's feet. Like I said, when I go to a music show, I have to draw something. I have to draw stuff. It's the only way I can keep from falling off my chair or eating or drinking too much. And then just trying to draw guitars. Guitars are not easy for me because they involve a lot of straight lines. I do more organic stuff. Oh, hey, look, I finally figured out how to do a quilt. And this guy was in front of the quilt. Oh, a few years ago I did a storyboard for a friend of mine. And so I didn't get a lot of description on some of the characters, so I just decided to explore. Explore with some appearances. Yes, that man is the corpse. It was an interesting story. Yeah. Oh, and this guy, I played D&D once. I played this barbarian, and this is the picture I had for him. His name was Yoon Bloodgood, or something like that. I wish I had been able to continue that because he was a lot of fun. For some reason, when I play D&D, I just want to pretend. You know, I don't want to focus too much on what I do and stuff. Well, I do because that's what you have to do, but I also want to act it out. Oh, yes, this. This was yet another show. This one was at Tim's Tavern in White Center. I don't even remember who this guy was, but I looked him up on Instagram, started following him. And that apparently is the bar dog. He's always at the bar. Oh, and here's one of the bands. That's my friend Allie Crace on bass. Oh yeah, that was like over a year ago. I need to see more Friends bands, you know? Do any of you go to live music shows? I think it's worth it to see indie bands rather than spending hundreds and hundreds of dollars on fancy tickets and things like that for you know, a big name. I mean, big names are nice, but the crowds are too much. All right, I think that's enough from sketchbooks. Let's get back to the program. This was me in 1983. I would like for you to make note of this weird little blouse that I'm wearing. All the rage. And here's the last sketch. Sometimes you just gotta be honest and doodle something, you know? So I'm going to put that away and I'm going to open up a new page. All right, today I'm not going to use a blue pencil like I did for the first one. The blue pencil kind of made it messy, made it difficult to ink. And while I could have gone into Photoshop and filtered out the blue, because that's what they do in comic books. They've done that since comic books were a thing. You get your basics down there, and oh, okay. Irene, if you're still listening from your lurk, my friend Tanya out in Lexington, Kentucky says congratulations on your art sale. Awesome. Doodle doodle doot. Doodle doodle doot. All right. Let's get hopping. Oops, that's not the... Everything is in jars. Now, if y'all can think of either of these, like this one or this one, let me know if one of the things seems a little more interesting. Or don't, that's fine. That's why I give lots of perspectives. Okay, probably not going to do that. What to write? I had there we go. Outside in the yard. The kitchen. Oh, the kitchen. Okay, so let's just kind of throw some things out there with my H pencil here. Let's start up here. I need a couple of perspectives, so I'm doing 2 squares, and I'm gonna, if the first one doesn't work out, then I'll just reframe for the second one. I like to do my pencil sketches kind of small, because I can always add detail in digital ink. Okay, so what we have here is a bit of a kitchen layout. I figured that this one would probably be better at and it's not exact to what my kitchen is, but it's close. Block out shapes first. Fix them up later, make them straight later. Okay, there's kitchen number 1. Let's see what kitchen number 2 is going to look like. From a slightly different perspective. Now, for some reason, our kitchen does not have a pantry. So we bought one of those kind of IKEA, maybe IKEA. It's just a little cubby cabinet. I have like 3 of them that I put all my art supplies in. So let's see. And you can't really have a kitchen if you don't have a garbage can. Who doesn't have a garbage can in their kitchen? This is going to be back a ways. I'm kind of sad that I don't have a pantry. I think I'd probably eat a lot more potato chips. Oh, hey, J Bear, how's it going? Oh, garbage can is hidden. You know, a lot of people have hidden their garbage can underneath their sinks. Oh, thank you for the hug, J Bear. I just realized I don't have my Streamlabs chap at the top. Yeah. Ta-da! Yours is in a cabinet. Yeah, we were going to put it under a sink, and we just have too big a garbage can. But there is a nook, and so we put it in the nook. Okay, so let's put some other things in the back here. My sister-in-law keeps hers under the sink, and then a bigger one, I think, just outside on the deck with a lid on it, just in case. But we have a garbage can, you know, for garbagey stuff. We have compost and we have recycling. Does that seem excessive? But you know, we kind of have to have that, because if we put everything in one basket, we would be filling up our garbage constantly. Don't put all your eggs in one basket. You know, we don't even do that literally. I think once the price of eggs came down after the bird flu stopped being a problem, I think we all bought a boatload of eggs. It's too bad it was too hot outside to really bake anything, you know. Because I would have baked several cakes and some cupcakes and maybe some cornbread. Oh, yeah. Bake late at night. Well, I don't live in a part of the country that gets a lot of heat in the night, so that's probably a really good idea. The only problem is that I don't know how you feel about having a strong scent in your home when you're trying to sleep. Because for me, if somebody started baking while I was, you know, half asleep, baby, I would wake up. I would totally wake up. I would be like, whoa, who is baking and what and when can I get some? And if it's cookies, can I have them hot out of the oven? Ooh, you know what? That reminds me. I have a group of friends that I do day games with. And the day games are just, you know, we pick out some new games or games we don't usually get to play on our regular game night with the rest of the group. And Yeah, we play for 3 or 4 hours. Oh, yeah, my husband likes to make pancakes. Yeah, Jay Bear says, unless it's in the morning. Yeah. My husband likes to make pancakes in the morning, or he likes to fry up Spam and eggs. Not going to complain about that. Either one would wake me out of a dead sleep. Also, I have asked my husband not to cook anything that is really heavy in onions. I mean, I like onions, all right. I don't want to smell them when I'm trying to sleep. And then, we have a dog who's crated. You see her. She's like right there. That's my dog. And she sleeps in a crate. She loves her crate. And, well, she or the cat usually gets some kind of weird freaked out animal smell. My husband can't smell anything. He's like, I don't know what you're talking about. Everything just smells like a bedroom. Oh, that's great. What do you think a bedroom smells like? Just saw a video on demand. Shredded Spam, potatoes, cheese, 2 eggs. Make them in patties and cook in an air fryer. Oh my gosh. Okay, I'm writing that one down. But first, I have to knock everything off of my desk. Alright, so was it absolute, like shredded, like in a cheese grater kind of thing? Oh yeah, I'm making these. I know my husband would really like this, but he can't do anything without measurements, you know? A flat grater. Oh, okay. Yeah. My cheese grater is kind of flat. My husband would see this and he'd be like, oh. Well, how much Spam? Do we use like half a can of Spam? How many potatoes? Do we use like a 1/4 pound of potatoes? What about cheese? Do I need a cup of cheese? He needs a recipe. I don't think he's comfortable free-forming it, you know? Looked like it was equal parts Spam. Yeah, that's what I would think. Equal parts. Make that happen. Oh yeah, something as simple as that. I used to make macaroni and cheese from a box. And then I watched a TikTok. Then I watched a TikTok that was it was pretty easy. It's pretty easy to see what went into it. Oh, you do this and that and oh, okay. Easy peasy. I didn't need a single bit of measurements. I just kind of knew. Some people have an instinct for that, you know? I don't think that it's wise to just kind of wing it when you're doing baking. When it comes to savory dishes, absolutely. My dad has a recipe for chili, and if I don't follow a recipe, because it's one of the few recipes he did write down. But if I don't do it exactly, it ends up inedible for me because he likes his chili very spicy. And he laughs at me when I tell him it's too spicy. He says, I called it wimp chili because it's not spicy enough. I'm like, Daddy, you need to stop that. He also does a red beans and rice every New Year's Day. Every New Year's Day he does a red beans and rice in the crock pot. And it's always delicious. And I always ask him for the recipe. And most of the time, he'll give me a recipe for anything else that he makes. Except for that. Except the red beans and rice. Oh. Some people just have a gut feeling for that kind of stuff. Or they know how to eyeball it, you know? Something about eyeballing it. It takes a lot of experimentation to get to that point. I'm not going to lie. Getting to that point was quite an adventure. And I started with, let's see, what did I start with? I started with the Toll House chocolate chip cookie recipe. And it got to the point where I just memorized it, you know? Okay. She was that way with baking and the timing. She would think that something was about to burn and take it out in time. Oh, yeah. Instinct. For me, when it comes to baking, if I smell it at a certain intensity, there's like this little spot where you kind of feel that it might be done, and you just go. Let's turn up this light just a skosh. Cause I can't see anything. Yeah, I can't see anything. But I gotta see something. Okay, so we have our kitchens. And I'm going to start with some tracing paper just to kind of get an idea of where I want the figure to be. Can't see that very well. I mean, I can. And if I make these darker, I'm going to have a problem. Because I won't be able to erase very well, especially with this pencil. This is a 2H pencil, which means that the lead is a bit harder than your standard number 2 pencil. So I'm going to try and find a pretty soft B pencil to darken these lines up. That one is soft enough, but I don't know if it will sharpen. Yes. I love the kneaded erasers. Mostly I just play with them, but I have used them for compositions. All right, that should work. I had a ruler. I don't know where the heck it went. So I will use the metal one. And I need some of these dark lines so that I can see it through the tracing paper. So I'm going to try and keep it simple. The B, the really soft B. Let's see, where is it? Come on, show me. There it is. That 5B. It'll be a lot easier to erase. It also might smudge. I don't care. I don't care. I do not care. Oh, I need a kneaded eraser? Yeah, there we go. Check it out. This might take some of the edge off. That's true. I love that kneaded eraser. Oh, now it's going to go away. It's going to move. This is an 18-inch ruler, and I've only got like 20 inches of space. perfect. But I really only need this area over here to look, because I was going to put, you know, the body up here. I feel like I need to put this little garbage can a little closer. Okay, so let's see if the tracing paper actually enjoys that. Oh yeah, that's a lot better. These wrinkles will not do. So this guy will fit in the kitchen without too many problems. I didn't want the kitchen to be the focal point. I wanted it to be more of an environment with a couple of people in it. I didn't want the people to be secondary, but I think I can do that with line weight and color. Okay, so we got a figure there. Let's see. My Twitch people are in the middle of an ad break. Yeah, maybe that's not the right. Hey, let's see what this does. There you go, Jay Bear. I'm going to draw a line through this so I know where she is supposed to sit. Jesus, how many jars of writing implements do I have? Okay. Remember how I said I needed a very soft pencil? Well, you're about to see why, other than making it super dark. Okay, we're going to turn this over and give it some graphite. I'm going to take a quick look at the Freddy cam. I know it's a little choppy, but darn it if she isn't cute when she does this. Go on, get in your bed, sweetie. Good girl. Looks at me for approval. Silly girl. Yeah, there we go. All right, now I'm going to take a sharpened, harder graphite and I'm going to transfer these bodies to the scene. All right. Let's do this. Ooh, kind of got lost in that for a minute. Okay, let's erase some spots and see how well we can fill out this drawing. Now I'm going to change the lighting a little bit so that I can see better. At least I think I'm going to change the lighting. Maybe I'm just going to use a magnifying glass because my glasses are terrible. I don't have very good hand strength at the moment, so give me 2 shakes to wrestle with this. There we go. I hear my husband talking to somebody. You know, for the last couple of weeks, it's been very quiet here. And it smelled better. Very relaxing. But it looks like my stepson is back from whatever task he was doing. He was gone for 2 weeks. I don't dislike my stepson. He is something that I have not encountered on a full-time basis. I'm used to, him and his sibling being here two times a month for a weekend. And to have him now as an adult, living in our home, that's new to me, and I'm not adjusting very well. Dang it, now I gotta get a reference photo out. I swear, sometimes reference photos have saved my bacon on caricatures. Getting a good angles challenge. I just had a blackout there. That's not fun. So I don't sleep very well. And up until this point, I've been doing pretty good. I've avoided sugar. And I know a lot of people are offended by this, but I drink decaf because I like having a coffee drink in the morning. So, it's kind of like saying, well, it's not, I couldn't think of anything at the point, but a coffee drink like cheese food. If you've ever gone to an American grocery and seen a cheese food in the case, it's kind of like that. It's you can't legally call it coffee. The purists wouldn't call it coffee. They'd call it a coffee drink. But I like a coffee in the morning. And lately I've been putting some caffeine in it. And let me tell you something about caffeine when you have been on decaf for years and years. Friend, it will rile you up. In the last couple of days, I've peaked. So no longer will maybe a quarter teaspoon put that little pep in my step. Now it's the full-blown thing. Got to be careful. And I have discovered that after all this time, apparently caffeine makes me combative. And cranky, and luckily my husband hasn't gotten the brunt of it. It's mostly been my computer, because there's nothing quite so unsatisfying as yelling at technology. My dad used to do that to appliances he would try to fix. He called it invoking spirits. For a long time, that's what I called it too. I've got some tangents in here I don't really like. Yeah, Rage Against the Machine. Totally. I was not happy with this machine earlier today. It's really strange because setting up se.live to multi-stream across platforms. Baby, that was nuts. I don't think I've ever been so angry in my life. And if I have, it's been like 30 years since that's happened. The last time I was that angry, Roger Taylor of Duran Duran had just gotten married. And I can't even tell you why I was that angry about it. Now I had to get rid of that refrigerator line because I had a tangent. Not a tantrum, a tangent. A tangent is where lines meet when they shouldn't. So let's say you have a tree. It's a beautiful tree, y'all. It's beautiful. Maybe a little grass. Now, if you have a car next to it, and the end of this car coincides with the side of this tree, and they share a line, that's a tangent. But if you have a little tree, hanging out on some grass, right on, and your car is doing something like this, oops, well, you get the drift. The thing is that this car is not sharing a single line with the tree. It's kind of behind it, you know. Yeah, it crashed. It's right up there. So when your lines don't share, when your lines share, it's a tangent. When it doesn't, that's what you want. Avoid tangents whenever possible. So we'll go back to this, and what I had right here, I'm going to put this up near this camera. The refrigerator line was crossing and sharing lines right here. Right here with the front of the glasses, and I can't have that. It just doesn't look right. So I will correct that. Okay. So we have this composition right here. And now I'm going to grab another piece of tracing paper. Oh, I smell pasta. Damn my husband and his cooking. So we're going to go through the same thing, but we're going to do it on this smaller square. Using our 5B pencil. I had to think about the perspective I was using. Okay, so now we have something basic that we can put a figure on. I'm scared to sharpen this again because I don't want anything to break. But I kind of need that point. So if you're ever using colored pencils, like a nice set of colored pencils, like Prismacolor, nice soft, waxy, blends really well with a bit of rubbing alcohol on a Q-tip. There is a special way you're supposed to sharpen them. You do it slow with gentle pressure, because if you don't, they break. And then next thing you know, you've got 3/4 of a pencil you spent $3 a color on. Not cool, y'all. Not tall enough. First, I think I'm going to get a spine in here. If I don't get a spine in, I can't really tell where the hips and the shoulders are. And I'm working from memory. I haven't seen my stepson in a couple of weeks. And he hasn't been in my kitchen for a couple of weeks. So, a lot of the memory of what he's been doing in my kitchen, not there. But I do remember he was pretty darn tall. Hmm. Mm. Damn it, Jack. He's cooking. He's cooking and he's trying to lure me away. I don't think my husband understands art streams. Because my music streams are about 2 hours, and they're fun, but they stop at about 2.5 hours because, well, my voice can only take so much. So I stop before I hurt myself. Where'd that squishy one go? But art streams, they're different. Stop that. Stay glued, you. Yeah, that head's in the wrong place. I don't like working from the bottom up, but sometimes there are parts that you need to solidify, and you just kind of go back and forth. I am displeased. So YouTube has this thing. It has this thing where Twitch has raids. There is something called redirect that I'm not enabled for. It's a little frustrating, but because I don't want to send all of the Twitch people to another artist and then just leave my YouTube people hanging. That seems hardly fair. Okay, that is a little... That seems a little more human, just a little. You know, I haven't walked Freddie in a couple of days, and it's mostly because it's been really cold outside after the stream. And I think my dog is the only dog in history. Maybe you know, I'm exaggerating. It's hyperbole. But when I bring out a sweater for that dog to wear, she gets so excited. So excited, that little dog. And I love seeing her happy and stuff, but it's been too cold, and I'm just... The streams have taken a little bit out of me at the end, especially the ones where I'm exerting myself pretty physically, you know? Haven't decided what I want this arm to do. Ah, yes. Let me just take a minute to give a shout out to all my lurkers. Chilling with me, listening to some soft voice. Drawing a few pictures. So the next time I'm doing an art stream, it's going to be Saturday at noon Pacific, 3 p.m. Eastern. So if you're hanging out, come on by. I know sometimes on Saturday, if I don't have something to do, if I'm not in front of my phone, I'm doing stuff like this. I'll fix that one in post. Okay. So I have kind of a basic face. Alright, let's put some graphite on the back and get this transferred. Dang, it wasn't like... Forget. Now I smear this, I like rub it and blend it for, because it's just not as messy when I turn it over. I still get the transfer that I'm looking for, but I'm just, smearing it around, kind of almost pushing it into the vellum. Or in this case, parchment. Oh, you know what I didn't do? I didn't mark the edges so I knew where to put this. Awesome. So now I'm just going to do some erasing. Win, win, win. What was I thinking? So I'm going to remove this so I can actually see the lines under it and maybe get a good alignment. Man. Well, I'm not going to beat myself up over silly mistakes. What's the point, right? Rub some dirt on it and move on. All right, that's a little easier to see. Here's a fun trick. I know I have a number of eraser pens, but those are, what's the word I'm looking for? Those are a little too harsh. And they're made out of a completely different material. wishing I had done that. Stop regretting. Move on. All right. All right, well, let's put him there. And I'm going to sharpen this. Even though it's super sharp right now, it's a habit. It's a habit to sharpen these. You never know when you're going to be super focused on your pencil work, and then all of a sudden a bear jumps through your window and you need to be ready. Okay, let's see. Did I miss something? The hand is incomplete, but I figured it out. Okay, let's take this off and see how we've done. Oh, better than the last one. Let's do a quick Freddy check. How you doing, little dog? How you doing, Freddie? I wonder if your ears moved. I wasn't looking. All right. Fred is a Chihuahua Terrier mix. She is 9 years old. Oh, damn it. She's 9 years old, and we adopted her from Paws. Yeah, up in Linwood, Washington. Apparently, she only likes me. My poor husband. He's so left out. I think I'm going to make these pants a little longer. Might need a reference. Might need a reference photo for that. Let's take a quick one. Where is my camera? Apparently I have forgotten how to camera. Gotta roll up my sleeve. Here we go. All right. Let's see what kind of pictures we got. I think one and that one seems a little herky. That one, I think that one's the one I'm going to use. Now, if you ask any artist to show you the pictures on their phone, you're going to find hundreds, and I do literally mean hundreds, of reference photos of hands, feet, facial expressions, shoes. Depending on the artist, maybe it's tasteful nudes, maybe it's not. But there's always going to be reference photos on your artist friends' camera roll. Oh, got ourselves a little tangent. I think that kind of worked out. And if it didn't, then I'll make it smaller when I go and ink it on Saturday. a lot of this is going to be fixed during the inking phase. I pencil just a little bit differently if I know I'm gonna ink on paper. I'm trying not to make him look sad, and he keeps looking sad. There we go. Okay, so we've got some detail in there. That will scan well and transfer into. I might want to play with this a little more. Uh-oh, I heard a bark. What has she got going on? Oh, I bet you anything my stepson is home. He's been gone for 2 weeks. He's been taking care of his mother's cat while she is out of town looking for a condo to move into. There's a story there. I have told it so many times. Okay, so there we have two aspects of the same scene. You know what? Let's make it so that it's a simple thing. So we have this one, which might require some detail down here to give it some depth. And this one down here, which is somewhat incomplete because he's reaching for something that isn't there. I'll figure it out. You know what I mean? I'll just figure it out. Let me look at something on my phone for a moment. Tonight's music, if you've been enjoying it, is from a channel on YouTube called The Relaxed Movement. I just set it in the background and let it do its thing. Yeah, just let it do its thing. Super fun. All right. I would love it if you would stick with me for a little bit. And then you and me can go see a friend of mine. But for now, the whole point of doing all of these little drawings is to put them into a zine by the end of the month. I've done Inktober for probably 6, maybe 7 years. And, you know, there came a time where I had to take a year off because the pressure was just too much. Was it pressure from the challenge itself? No. It was because Inktober is ultimately a, what do you call it? A self-challenge. Since it's ultimately a self-challenge, the pressure that I was feeling was on myself because, 31 drawings in 31 days. Now that's a challenge. So I'd like for you to stick with me while we check out somebody. Somebody that I have not met before, and I think that she's got some really interesting stuff going on her on her drawing board right now, and I think that you'll really like her. So if you'll just hang out with me for a minute. We're going to hang out here for a second. I want you to know that I'm really glad that you showed up and hung out with me tonight. I hope you had a nice relaxing time, a little meditative moment watching me put together these. The next time you'll see me is noon, so if you're not already following, hit a follow and you'll get a notification probably when I go on. It's an early stream for me, right? For now, though, let me make sure I've got the name right. For now, though, I'm going to send my Twitch people over to someone called Crayamore. She's Canadian. Right now she's drawing fish. And if you're on YouTube, I want to say I am very happy that you're here. Very glad you could join me tonight. And I hope you come back. Either hit subscribe or follow over there. I'm not quite sure how it works, but I'm getting there. So, I love you. I want you to be happy. I want you to take care of yourself and each other. And let's do this. Be good, all right? Crap, I did the wrong thing.